Hello guys, Nemox here, and today we are diving into What If Naruto Was an Uchiha Part 3. Before I start, I would like to remind you guys to like and subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications so you get notified when the next video comes out. Another thing is that I would like to establish an uploading schedule, which is going to be every week Tuesdays and Fridays. I'll upload basically 2 videos per week. Without further ado, let's get into it. Just a recap from last video. Last video we ended with both Naruto and Sasuke being born and the masked man appearing in a secret underground bunker outside the Hidden Leaf village. The day is July 23rd, and both Kushina and Mikoto are giving birth in a secret underground facility heavily guarded with Anbu and Uchiha police. Minato, focusing all his concentration on keeping the Nine-Tailed Seal locked, thinks back to his meeting with Lord Third the day prior. Flashback during a meeting between Minato and Lord Third. Lord Third, what do you need from me? Asks Minato as he arrives at the request of the third Hokage. Minato, I called you here to check up on how preparations are going for Kushina's childbirth, said Lord Third while smoking his pipe. Yes, the preparations have already been made. I've assigned Fugaku along with his most trusted Uchiha elites to guard Kushina during her birth. And it just so happens that Mikoto, Fugaku's wife, is also giving birth on the same day, so we have decided for her to give birth along with Kushina. It was a personal request from both of them, saying that this would strengthen the bond between their children, replied Minato. Okay, I see. But for extra precaution, I'll assign a few members of my personal Anbu there as well, said the third Hokage. End of flashback. Wah, wah. Naruto and Sasuke cry out loud, both being carefully held by the assigned nurses. Okay, it's time to reapply the Nine-Tailed Seal, Minato thought, with his forehead laced with sweat, not even having the time to spare Naruto a look. Congrats, Lady Kushina and Lady Mikoto. They're both boys, examined the two nurses. What are their names? They ask. His name is Naruto, says Kushina in a weak and trembling voice, with her head turned towards him. Ours is Sasuke, Fugaku said, while looking down at his newborn baby boy. Welcome to the family, says Mikoto with a strain in her voice, looking at the baby in Fugaku's arms. Both nurses then take the two children away, getting ready to place them in their individual beds. Then suddenly, a swirl in space along with a masked man appears in the middle of the room. Hello, Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, says the masked man in a menacing voice. In a matter of seconds, the masked man lunges for the newborn babies. Fugaku, with his Sharingan activated, reacts, but is only able to take Sasuke into his arms. The masked man, now holding Naruto with his left hand, pulls out a kunai and is about to stab Naruto. Minato, seeing this, withdraws from reapplying Kushina's seal and teleports Naruto away. Once out of danger, Minato hands Naruto to Fugaku and instructs him to take the children away. Fugaku, now with his Mangekyou Sharingan activated, kamweeds both Naruto and Sasuke along with Mikoto to safety. Unfortunately for Minato, the masked man also kamweeds himself along with the half-sealed Kushina away. An unknown location away from the village. Haha, I'd expected more resistance from the fourth Hokage. No matter, as his incompetence will only benefit my plans. I should probably get started, the masked man says, as he prepares to unseal the Nine-Tails. Wait, what do you mean, get started? Kushina asks, demanding for an answer to all this. Well, can't you see? Today is a special day. It's a day that I'm going to unseal the Nine-Tails and finally destroy this wretched village, the masked man answers, as he starts extracting the Nine-Tails. Kushina, tired and exhausted from giving birth, shrieks in pain as the Nine-Tails is being extracted from her. Trying desperately to slow down the extraction, Kushina uses the remainder of her chakra to release chains from her back. These chains fly at blinding speeds towards the masked man, wrapping themselves around him. Oh, chakra-stealing chains, huh? The masked man comments. I applaud you for trying that, but that won't stop me. Not even stopping for a moment, the masked man simply phased through Kushina's incoming chains and continued with the extraction, eventually finishing it. Kushina is now found lying limp on the ground with no color left on her face, and passed out. The ground, as a result of the sudden addition of mass from the Nine-Tailed humongous figure, starts to shake and crack. Yes, I'm out of that prison, the Ninetales roars. Finally, my long-anticipated plan will come true, the Maskman shouts as he examines the Ninetales' powerful figure. Though right before the Maskman could completely control the Ninetales with a genjutsu, a flash of red appears and the Maskman receives a punch straight in the stomach, losing his concentration. Not expecting this, the Maskman fell over due to the impact, and in another flash of red, the half-dead Kushina disappeared along with the culprit of the punch. How dare he sneak up on me, the Maskman growls in anger. Noticing that the Ninetales is still present, the Maskman immediately quenches his anger and resumes his plan. After placing the Ninetales under a genjutsu, the Maskman teleports himself to his main target. Inside of the village. During the middle of the night, a swirl in space appears along with the Maskman in the middle of the streets. Time to show them true despair, the Maskman chants as he summons the Ninetales. Instantly, in a puff of smoke, the massive body of the Ninetales appears in the middle of the village, crushing a dozen buildings in the process. Broken houses were flying all over the place as the Ninetales swung its tails widely. The Leaf Village immediately flew into disarray. Emergency sirens sounded and the villagers quickly evacuated under the direction of the village police. Many shinobi tried to attack the Ninetales, hoping to slow it down, but only to lose their lives in the process. Seeing the predicament the village was in, the third Hokage, equipped it with his battle armor, led a wave of Anbu members to intercept the Ninetales on his rampage. In a safe house far away from the village, both Naruto and Sasuke are crying in their individual baby crates, each not knowing what is going on, so they both continue to express their discontent. Mikoto, weak and tired, laid on the one of two twin-sized beds, with Fugaku by her side holding a cup of water. Hearing the constant crying of the two babies, Fugaku walked over and tried to calm them down. Fugaku picked up the two babies and started pacing around the room singing a song. Unfortunately, dealing with babies wasn't Fugaku's forte, and soon both Naruto and Sasuke cried even louder. Disappointed and remembering his curse with little kids, Fugaku put the two babies down, but this time together in the same crate, and left. Surprisingly, once Naruto and Sasuke felt each other's calming presence, they instantly fell asleep. Mikoto, knowing about Fugaku's history with babies, was surprised by their sudden tranquility and asked in a weak but aggressive voice, "Fugaku, what did you do to them? Don't tell me you put them in a genjutsu!" Whoa, don't come to conclusions so soon, Mikoto dear. I didn't do anything other than put those two noise machines beside each other. Also, you're still weak. You should learn from those two and go to sleep, Fugaku answered. I'll go do my rounds now so you can rest assured. During the middle of his rounds, a red flash appeared and both Minato and Kushina could be seen in the room. Minato, in a hurry, gently laid Kushina down on the other twin-sized bed and left without speaking a word. Fugaku, not knowing what was happening, arrived beside Kushina to examine her wounds. With a quick glance of his Sharingan, Fugaku knew Kushina did not have long. Fugaku, would you promise me that you will take care of Naruto if Minato and I don't make it? I can't imagine what life would be like for Naruto if he lived alone, Kushina pleaded in an extremely weak voice. I understand. I promise. If Naruto would ever be left without parents, we would take him in, Fugaku assured. Now rest up and conserve your energy. I believe that after this disaster, the medics in the village may find a way to save you, Fugaku said in a calming voice. Kushina did as she was told and closed her eyes, knowing that her child was in good hands. Back in the village, the Ninetales, under the Maskman's control, continued its destruction within the village. About a minute after its rampage, Minato, along with the third Hokage and his fleet of Anbus, arrives at the scene. Simultaneously, the Anbu fired their respective ninjutsu along with the third, extending his adamantium staff at the gigantic mass of chakra. Minato, on the other hand, after arriving, engages the Masked Man in a battle. The Masked Man, not wanting to risk the possibility of Minato ruining his plans, convoys both him and Minato away from the village. Middle of the woods. Once the convoy opened, Minato quickly backed off to keep his distance from the Masked Man and activated his Sharingan. Minato then proceeded to spread his flying Raijin-marked kunais around the area. The Masked Man, wasting no time, engaged in a rapid taijutsu battle with Minato. Minato, with the help of his Sharingan, easily dodged the Masked Man punches. and after a long barrage of attacks from both sides, Minato and the masked man backed off to ready themselves for round 2. Seeing as this was the perfect opening, Minato charged the giant Rasengan on his right hand, and in a red flash smashed it against the masked man's body. The aftershock of the Rasengan twisted the masked man's flesh and thrusted the masked man through a dozen of trees. Impossible! I made sure to not go even close to your marker, spat the masked man as blood was running down half his body. I marked your stomach with my flying Raijin seal during our previous exchange when you released the Nine Tails, said Minato proudly, as he knew he had won. This won't be the end of me, said the masked man. I am Uchiha Madara, and I won't stop till this whole village is reduced to dust. The masked man, after his announcement, slowly retreats back into his kamui, trying to hold back the blood gushing out of him. Minato, after hearing the masked man's statement, is stunned, but has no time to think too much, cause the Nine Tails is still causing chaos in the village. Back in the village, during Minato's time away, the third Hokage, along with his Anbu squad, defended against the Nine Tails pretty well. Since their arrival, the Nine Tails has been relatively contained and its destruction has been limited to a small area. No further buildings was destroyed, but even so, this wasn't a permanent solution, as the Anbu soldiers are slowly losing chakra and stamina. Lord Third, the Nine Tails containment was a success, but we can't keep this up much longer, reported an Anbu official. I understand, said Lord Third, but we can only wait for Lord Fourth, as he's the only person capable of teleporting such a beast, he replied. Understood, the Anbu member replied. Just as the conversation ended, the genjutsu controlling the Nine Tails also disappeared. The previous mindless attacking monster was now replaced with an intelligent and angry Nine Tails. The Nine Tails, having had enough of being pushed around and manipulated, decided to end this charade by charging up for a fully powered tailed beast ball. But during the process of creating the tailed beast ball, unexpectedly, a huge toad appeared above the Nine Tails, cutting off the technique. Before long, the incomplete tailed beast ball was teleported away and exploded at the place where Minato and the masked man previously fought. Before anyone could realize, the Nine Tails was also gone in a red flash. Guess Minato made it in time, the third Hokage thought. Anybody who can still fight, come with me and let's go help the fourth in his battle, the lord screamed. Aye, a group of Anbu members said in unison. Back at the safe house. After Minato left Kushina at the safe house, Fugaku tried his best to deal with Kushina's condition of chakra exhaustion. Rummaging through the stored medical equipment, Fugaku finally found the medical chakra fluid. Immediately, he attached the fluid pack onto the feeding tube and connected it to one of Kushina's main arteries. Seeing that Kushina's condition has gotten a bit better, Fugaku finally sat down to rest. Relaxing in the quiet room of sleeping bodies, Fugaku found himself in a long-awaited sense of peace. About half a minute after Fugaku sat down, the building started to rumble and things were falling apart. Feeling the commotion, Kushina, along with Mikoto, awoke, looking around for the problem. Fugaku, with his senses turned on, noticed the familiar but overpowering chakra of the Nine Tails. At light speed, Fugaku activated his Susanoo that encased the safe house. Getting off his chair, Fugaku exited the safe house to see Minato drenched in sweat and breathing heavily with the Nine Tails at full display. Hey, Minato, what's happening? How's the Nine Tails here? Fugaku asks as he gets into a fighting stance. I teleported the Nine Tails here so it won't be able to further harm the village. I've got a plan, but I need your help. Can you temporarily put the Nine Tails in the genjutsu? Asks Minato. I'll only need a few seconds. Not waiting for the Nine Tails to make its move, Fugaku immediately placed the Nine Tails under a genjutsu. I can't hold it for long, Minato. You better hurry, Fugaku reminded. Minato, not wasting any time, activated the Reaper's Death Seal. Soon, a Grim Reaper could be seen behind Minato. Kushina, holding the sleeping Naruto, exits the safe house after hearing Minato's voice and sees what Minato's about to do. Minato, what are you doing? You're going to lose your life after this. How could you bear leaving Naruto on his own? Kushina shouted, carrying Naruto and limping towards Minato. I'm sorry, Kushina, but I must. I can't allow the Nine Tails to roam free, and I have a plan for Naruto's future. I'll seal half of Nine Tails' power inside Naruto, so he may grow up to use the power. I believe Naruto is a prophecy child that Master Jiraiya talked about, and I'll be giving the key of the seal to him. Before I die, I'll be leaving a part of my soul inside the seal so I can see our boy again, but all grown up, Minato said, crying. Fugaku, do you still remember your promise? Kushina asks. Yes, I do. I'll take care of Naruto no matter what he holds inside him, Fugaku replies. I don't have much time left either, so after this, I'll leave Naruto in your care, said Kushina. Kushina, with the last of her strength, limps towards Minato and rests Naruto on the ground. Minato, completing the seal, leaves the evil half of the Nine-Tails inside himself and seals the good half inside Naruto. He then summons the frog and places the key onto it, telling him to bring it to Jiraiya. Afterwards, both Kushina and Minato imbues the remaining amounts of their chakra inside Naruto's seal. Goodbye, Naruto, said both Kushina and Minato with the last of their breath. Fugaku, expending an excessive amount of chakra on immobilizing the Nine-Tails, collapses on the ground and passes out. Naruto, after having half of the Nine-Tails sealed inside him, wakes up and starts crying. Not long after this, inside the safe house, the noise of Sasuke's cries can also be heard. The two boys' cries rang out and echoed throughout the forest. About 5 minutes later, the third Hokage, along with the Anbu, finally arrive and relocate our Uchihas. So guys, this will be the end of What If Naruto Was an Uchiha Part 3. Finally, we're done with the setup, and in the next chapter, you will start seeing Naruto and Sasuke during their childhood. Just a reminder, if you like my content, remember to like and subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications so you can be notified when the next video comes out. Also, remember to share this video with your friends so they can experience this story as well. If you have any questions about the story, comment the questions down below and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. And this will be the end of the video, so until next time, see ya!